Hello and welcome to Hare Investigations. I'm your host, Anna Rucco. The Strange Conundrum of the Strangeman's Cabin. Strangeman Series, Part 6. Death? That's the question, isn't it? Who is the Strangeman? A question that has been around since 1898 in the world of Red Dead. There has been countless speculations about his true identity. Even with all the evidence, it still remains a mystery. With the first 5 parts of this series, we deep dived into the cabin itself, uncovering even more clues and mysteries. Now let's take a look at all the evidence and see what theory we're able to craft. Only seen once in a mirror in 1899, but is visible throughout the game in 1911. Is unaffected by physical objects such as bullets. Has paintings for locations John will be visiting in the future. Has newspapers on the walls of his cabin that haven't been written yet. Has sayings written on the walls that tell of future events he is not present for. Has a collection of items that all point to life, death, and warnings. Has a dead alligator in a cage with a trap door into the house. Appears to have people in service to him by some means. Lives in a cabin that used to belong to a serial killer. Able to make deals with people that seem to affect the real world. Offers John situations with opposing moral options to choose from. Keeps a constant watch on Arthur and John's honor and morality. Knows what people are involved in and doing without being present. Knows the final resting place of John, Abigail, and Uncle before their deaths. Some people believe that the Strangeman is the Angel of Death, also known as the Grim Reaper.
Reaper and his Sunday best.
So let's take a look at a few of the personifications of death and see if any of them fit the theory. Azrael, also called the Angel of Death. While Azrael can recognize the name of the blessed and the damned, he does not know when they will die until the tree of life drops a leaf bearing their name. They must then separate the body and soul after 40 days and deliver it to be judged. Death, also called the Pale Rider. The personification of death, often a skeleton with a scythe and one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. He is also known as the Pale Horseman, whose name is Thanatos, the same as that of the ancient Greek personification of death, and the only one of the horsemen to be named. Grim Reaper, also just called the Reaper, a personification of death as an old man or a skeleton carrying a scythe, taking souls to the afterlife. This personification was first documented in 1847. Santa Muerte, or Saint Death, a female folk saint venerated primarily in Mexico, a personification of death also associated with healing, protection, and safe delivery to the afterlife. Shinigami, the deity and or personification of death in Japanese mythology. In all these different personifications and countless others, one thing remains the same. Death is seen as an entity that delivers souls to the afterlife. Just like Kirin the ferryman in Greek mythology, they are benevolent and have no knowledge of the soul they are sent to retrieve until the appointed time. Death is a collector at the end of one's lifespan. However, the Strangeman knows a lot of what's going on, having vast amounts of knowledge about people well before their time. We also know the Strangeman does put John into situations in which there is a danger of loss, harm, or failure. As you can see, death does check off a lot of things on the list. It does leave some things unchecked, and that's to be expected. Depending on which version of death you believe in or which history we pulled from, these checks could change. According to the information that I went by, this is the list that I came up with. So death is not a perfect fit. So don't think the Strangeman is entirely death. I didn't say he wasn't death. I said not entirely death. So the personification of death is not a perfect fit. Join us in the next episode as we investigate the next personification and see how that fits.